Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for today's online session on the subject Science and Technology Section A. In our previous session, we have completed the explanation of chapter Heat. Also, we have started with our textual exercise. We have completed question number 1, question number 2, question number 3 and question number 4. So, in our today's session, we are going to continue with question number 5. So, let's begin with question number 5. Explain the following temperature versus time graph. Now, such type of questions are very likely to be asked in the board exam. In our March 2020 science paper, we had got one graph question where a graph was asked and questions related to the graph were asked in the exam. Now explain the following temperature versus time graph. Look at the graph. You have to look at the graph and explain the points what you can see in the graph. Now you can see here that the temperature of the mixture, it remains constant at 0 degree Celsius till all the ice melts as shown by line AB. Whatever concept we have studied in the beginning, latent heat of fusion, latent heat of vaporization, that we are going to apply over here. So our first step, in the first step you are going to mention that in the beginning the temperature of mixture remains constant at 0 degree Celsius till all the ice melts as shown by line AB. When you go on further heating, you will see that the temperature rises steadily from 0 degree to 100 degree Celsius as shown by this line BC. At 100 degree Celsius, what happens? Water starts converting into steam. Now, the temperature, it does not change over here if it is further heated, and the conversion of water into steam, it continues as shown by line CD. So this is the explanation which you have to give for the following graph. I have jotted down the points. In the next slide, you can just write down the points. Temperature of mixture remains constant at 0 degree Celsius till all the ice melts as shown by line AB. You can jot down the points immediately in your own words. On further heating, temperature rises steadily from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius as shown by line BC. What happens at 100 degree Celsius? At 100 degree Celsius, water starts converting into steam. If it is heated further, temperature does not change and conversion of water into steam continues as shown by line CD. I hope you have jotted down the points. First point, temperature of the mixture remaining constant at 0 degree Celsius. You can write in your own words line AB. What does line BC show? That temperature rises steadily from 0 degree to 100 degree Celsius. At 100 degree Celsius, water starts converting into steam, and if it is heated further, temperature does not change and conversion of water into steam, it continues as shown by line CD. Here we finish question number 5. Now question number 6A we are going to start with. Explain the following. First one, what is the role of anomalous behavior of water in preserving aquatic life in regions of cold climate? Now this entire answer I have explained to you when I had explained the concept of anomalous behavior of water. I had told you below the water in the lake or water bodies, how the fishes or the aquatic life, they are survived even if the temperature of the cold regions, it falls below 0 degree Celsius. So but for your information, I have jotted down the points again. You can just quickly note down the points. In cold countries during winter, you know that the temperature of the air is very low, that is even below 0 degree Celsius. A very important answer and the diagram for this answer. If this answer is asked in the exam for 3 marks, then in your textbook on page number 66 you have figure 5.7. That diagram you have to show it. That diagram you have to draw in the exam. Next point will show that as the temperature decreases, water at the surface of water bodies, it begins to contract, due to which its density increases. Now in short you jot down the points. Temperature decreases, water contracts, density increases. Then you can further exaggerate the points when you write in your notebook. Third point, when the temperature of water falls below 4 degrees Celsius, water expands instead of contracting due to anomalous behavior of water. This point is very important, as well as the temperatures. Mentioning the temperatures is very important. So first point you are showing, in cold countries during winter the temperature of air is very low, that is even below 0 degree Celsius. As the temperature further decreases, water at the surface of water bodies begins to contract, due to which its density increases. Third point, when the temperature of water falls below 4 degrees Celsius, water expands instead of contracting due to anomalous behavior of water. We move on to our next point. Point number 4. Now, as the temperature of water it falls still to 0 degrees Celsius, water on the surface of water bodies, it will get converted into ice. And all of you know that ice is a bad conductor of heat. It will not allow the heat to enter inside the water. I am waiting for you to jot down the points. As the temperature of water falls to 0 degrees Celsius, in the previous slide we have shown that below 4 degree what happens. Now here we are showing that as the temperature from 4 degree it falls to 0 degree, water on the surface of water bodies gets converted to ice, and ice is a bad conductor of heat. Hence, the water below the layer of ice continues to remain at 4 degrees Celsius even though the temperature of air falls below it. Now this is the explanation which I have given from my side. If you feel any other point relevant to the answer, you can write it down. But very important thing again I want to tell here is show the diagram. First you show the diagram, and below the diagram you give all this explanation. Hence, so as ice is a bad conductor of heat, water below the layer of ice, it continues to remain at 4 degrees Celsius even though the temperature of air falls below it. And hence, aquatic animals or aquatic life, they survive even when the temperature of air falls below 0 degrees Celsius. I hope all of you have jotted down all the 6 points. You can write in your own words. Only take care that mentioning the temperatures, drawing of the diagram and the concept should remain the same. It should not change. Once again I will give a minute for you all to write down if anything is missing. First 3 points, then 4th, 5th and 6th point. Always keep the practice of writing brief answers point wise. Whether it is a give reason, whether it is a 2 marks question, whether it is a 3 marks question, you have to write the answers point wise. We move on to the next question. Question number 6b. How can you relate the formation of water droplets on the outer surface of a bottle taken out of a refrigerator with formation of dew? You know, formation of dew in the atmosphere. So they have asked, see, logical thinking. How can you relate? You know, when you take a water bottle outside a refrigerator, water bottle or a cold drink bottle, outside after some time, if you keep that bottle out, you will see water droplets accumulating on the surface. When you touch, your hands become wet. So they have linked this topic, this phenomena with the formation of dew, and they have asked us how you can relate. So if you want the answer in the textbook, you can just mark in the textbook. Answer is on page number 67. Answer is on page number 67. You can see in the center of the page, try this is given. Try this. So there they have given point number 1 and 2. Take a bottle of cold water out of a refrigerator and keep it outside for a while. Observe the outer surface of the bottle. So our first point should be, when a bottle of water is taken out of the refrigerator, the air surrounding the bottle cools. Agreed? When you take a bottle out of the refrigerator, what happens? The air around the bottle, it cools down. The temperature falls down. So when air cools, due to decrease in the temperature, it becomes saturated with water vapor. Now you know that the air surrounding the bottle is cooling down, and when the air cools, due to the decrease in temperature, it becomes saturated with water vapor. You can see on page number 67. I told you just now, in the center of the page below point number 1 and 2, you have a small paragraph above unit of heat. There the entire explanation they have given. You have to write it point wise. As a result, the excess water vapor gets converted into tiny droplets. So you know now air is becoming cool, getting saturated with water vapor. So when the saturation level will be achieved, excess water vapor, what will happen to it? It will get converted into tiny water droplets on the outer surface of the bottle, and they resemble like dew, which is seen in the early morning on the leaves of plants or grass or window glass of a vehicle, when especially in the winter season, when the temperature of your atmosphere falls down. So mostly in the winter season you can see this formation of dew. So this is linked with the phenomena of a water bottle or a bottle taken out of a refrigerator. Again I read the points, you can mark in your textbook. When a bottle of water is taken out of the refrigerator, the air surrounding the bottle cools. When air cools, due to the decrease in temperature, it becomes saturated with water vapor. As a result, the excess water vapor gets converted into tiny droplets on the outer surface of the bottle, which resembles like dew, which we can see in the early morning on the leaves of plants or grass or window glass of a vehicle. Everything is given there, see on page number 67. This point resembling they have given on page number 67. Try this point number 2. Point number 2 you will get this point. So you can mark in the textbook, and without wasting our time we move to the next question, that is question number 6C. Now here you have to write the answer in your own words. Link the phenomena of anomalous behavior of water and try to explain in your own words. In cold regions in winter, the rocks crack due to anomalous expansion of water. Here you have to show that in the winter season, what happens in the cold region, the temperature of the surrounding, it falls even below 0 degrees Celsius. So what happens, the water which is present in the crevices of the rocks, it goes on expanding, and as there is no room for further expansion, you will find that the rocks, they crack. So that phenomena you are going to link with the concept of anomalous behavior of water and try to write in your own words. So here we complete with question number 6. Now we move to question number 7. We move to question number 7, that is answer the following. Question number 7, answer the following. First question is, what is meant by latent heat? Now here they have not asked us specifically whether it is latent heat of fusion or latent heat of vaporization. So general definition of latent heat you are going to give here. How will the state of matter transform if latent heat is given off? Given off. Okay, so first you are going to define what is latent heat. So amount of heat energy absorbed or given out. The amount of heat energy absorbed or given out by a substance to change its state. State means either from solid to liquid. that is latent heat of fusion, or liquid to the gaseous state, that is latent heat of vaporization, is called latent heat. So general definition over here, because they have asked here what is meant by latent heat. So all of you write down the definition quickly. The amount of heat energy absorbed or given out by a substance to change its state at a constant temperature is called latent heat. Next, they have asked how will the state of matter transform if latent heat is given out. So if latent heat is given off, gas will conversion, you can see the arrow over here, gas will get converted into liquid and liquid will get converted into solid. Gas will get converted into liquid and liquid you can show conversion into solid. So this is the answer for our question number 7A. I hope all of you have written down. The amount of heat energy absorbed or given out by a substance to change its state at a constant temperature is called latent heat. And if latent heat is given out, gas conversion into liquid, liquid conversion into solid. We move on to our next question now. Question number 7B. Question number 7B. Which principle is used to measure the specific heat capacity of a substance? Which principle is used to measure the specific heat capacity of a substance? We have studied the principle of heat exchange. If two bodies, hot and a cold object, is kept isolated, then what happens? The heat which is lost by the hot object is gained by the cold object. So our answer is which principle? Principle of heat exchange. And in short you have to mention the principle. Heat lost by hot object is equal to heat gained by cold object. Even if you write this up till here, then also you will get full 1 mark. But if you are precise, then when the quality of the paper is decided, that time this will impress the examiner that you know the entire principle thoroughly. So in short you are going to mention heat lost by the hot object is equal to heat gained by cold object. Here we complete question number 7B. We move on to the next question, 7C. Explain the role of latent heat in the change of state of a substance. Explain the role of latent heat in the change of state of substances. So first thing you will write, whenever the substance changes its state, what happens? The substance, it either absorbs or gives out heat energy, but everything is done at a constant temperature. So point number 1 is, during change of state of a substance, the substance either absorbs or gives out heat energy but at a constant temperature. In short, you can write down the way you can understand. Point number 2 is, this heat energy is used for weakening the bonds between the atoms or molecules in the substance. In the experiment we have seen ice getting converted into water or water getting converted into steam. The heat energy which is absorbed, what is that heat energy used for? Weakening the bonds between the atoms or molecules in that particular substance. So that will be your second point. Point number 3. This energy which brings about a change in state and does not change the temperature is called latent heat. They have asked, explain the role of latent heat in the change of state of substances. So first statement we have shown that when any substance changes its state, what happens? The substance either absorbs or gives out heat energy. Second step, we are showing that what this heat energy is doing. This heat energy is used for weakening the bonds between the atoms or molecules in that particular substance. And in the third sentence, we are showing what is latent heat. This heat energy which brings about a change in state and does not change the temperature is called latent heat. So this is the role of latent heat in the change of state of a substance. Now we move on to the next question, that is question number 7D. On what basis and how will you determine whether air is saturated with vapor or not? On what basis and how will you determine whether air is saturated with vapor or not? Now how you are going to determine? It will be determined on the basis of relative humidity. So whether air is saturated with vapor or not is determined on the basis of relative humidity. In short, you can write down the answer on the basis of relative humidity. Relative humidity means what? That is on the basis of extent of water vapor present in the air. On the basis of extent of water vapor present in the air. So here we complete with question number 7. Now question number 8 is a comprehensive question. That is, a paragraph is printed ahead of you. You have to read the paragraph thoroughly and answer the questions, but by applying logic from the concepts which you have studied. Direct answers you may not get from the paragraph, only a link of the answers you will get. It is not like English that certain words or you can say like simile and all the figures of speech and word directly you can get from the paragraph. Here only the concept is there ahead of you. Link the concept, apply your logic, apply your scientific thinking and answer the questions. So in short, I will read the paragraph. In your textbook also you have the paragraph, so keep the textbooks open. Question number 8. Read the following paragraph and answer the questions. If heat is exchanged between a hot and cold object, the temperature of the, so you can see here, heat is exchanged between cold and hot object. The temperature of cold object goes on increasing due to gain of energy, and the temperature of hot object goes on decreasing due to loss of energy. The change in temperature continues till the temperatures of both the objects attain the same value. In this process, the cold object gains heat energy and the hot object loses heat energy. If the system of both the objects is isolated from the environment by keeping it inside a heat-resistant box, then no energy can flow from inside the box or come into the box. Now the paragraph is there ahead of you. Your first question is, heat is transferred from where to where? So you can see here in the very first statement they have given, heat is transferred from a hot to a cold object. You know that heat will not be transferred from a cold to a hot object. So they have just given you between a hot and cold object, but your answer should be heat is transferred from a hot object to the cold object. See, logic is applied over here. So we have answered the first question. Our next question is, which principle do we learn about from this process? Now you know that this process is regarding principle of heat exchange. So here you can see that heat is exchanged between hot and cold object. So the answer is principle of heat exchange. Answer is principle of heat exchange. Now third question is nothing but how will you state the principle briefly? That is principle of heat exchange which is given in the textbook. That same principle you are going to write here. If heat is exchanged between a hot and cold object, then heat energy lost by hot object is equal to the heat energy gained by the cold object. Just now in question number 7B, we have written this answer. Question number 7B, which principle? So that same principle you are going to write over here. If heat is exchanged between a hot and cold object, then heat energy lost by hot object is equal to the heat energy gained by cold object. It is given in the textbook also. That same principle you are going to copy over here. Fourth one, which property of the substance is measured using this principle? You have seen mixing method and calorimeter. Specific heat capacity of a substance can be measured using this principle. Specific heat capacity of a substance can be measured using this principle. So looking at the paragraph, only the link is given in the paragraph. You should know the topic, you should know the concept of principle of heat exchange very nicely, then only you will be able to answer all these questions. Once again I read the answers. Heat is transferred from where to where? Heat is transferred from a hot object to the cold object. Which principle do we learn about from this process? We learn the principle of heat exchange. How will you state the principle briefly? If heat is exchanged between a hot and cold object, then the heat energy lost by the hot object is equal to the heat energy gained by the cold object. Which property of the substance is measured using this principle? Specific heat capacity of a substance can be measured using this principle. Here we end with question answers, textual question answers. All 8 we have seen today. Now some additional question answers I am giving you. Only definitions I will be giving, and in our next session we are going to do the numericals based on this chapter. So we move to our additional questions. The first one is define. Definitions, write down the questions and mark it in the textbook immediately. The first one is define specific latent heat of fusion. Answer is on page number 63 in bold black colored letters. You can see specific latent heat of fusion, mark on page number 63. The amount of heat energy absorbed at constant temperature by unit mass of a solid to convert into liquid phase is called the specific latent heat of fusion. The amount of heat energy absorbed at constant temperature by unit mass of a solid to convert into liquid phase is called the specific latent heat of fusion. You can see on page number 63, again below it you can see specific latent heat of vaporization, again in bold black colors. The amount of heat energy absorbed at a constant temperature by unit mass of a liquid to convert into gaseous phase is called the specific latent heat of vaporization. Same page, both the definitions are given in bold black colors. Mark it immediately, don't waste time in copying down. Page number 63. The amount of heat energy absorbed at constant temperature by unit mass of a liquid to convert into gaseous phase is called the specific latent heat of vaporization. Third definition is regelation. On page number 64, you have near figure 5.3. You have the definition for regelation. You can see in that paragraph, what do you observe? Fourth line you are having, the phenomenon in which, if you want you can write down this definition, the phenomenon in which the ice converts to liquid due to applied pressure and then reconverts into ice once the pressure is removed is called regelation. The phenomenon in which the ice converts to liquid due to applied pressure and then reconverts to ice once the pressure is removed is called regelation. Next definition, humidity. The presence of moisture in the atmosphere is called humidity. The presence of moisture in the atmosphere is called humidity. For the last definition, you can mark on page number 68, that is relative humidity. No, page number 66. Last definition, relative humidity, you can mark on page number 66. See, at the bottom of the page you have that formula. Above the formula you have one small paragraph. The answer is that paragraph. The ratio of actual mass of water vapor content in the air for a given volume and temperature to that required to make the air saturated with vapor at that temperature is called the relative humidity. So I hope all of you have marked the definition on page number 66. Now one last additional question is there, that is a diagram, very important. Draw a neat label diagram of Hope's apparatus. We have studied this entire diagram during our explanation. So mark the diagram on page number 65 in your textbook, figure 5.5. Figure 5.5 is Hope's apparatus. Here you have to be careful while drawing the diagram. both the thermometers should be shown properly with proper temperatures T1, T2. In the bowl you have to show freezing mixture. So temperatures showing the thermometer, freezing mixture and the setup should be proper while drawing the diagram of Hope's apparatus. Here we complete with all the textual question answers and the additional question answers for chapter number 5, that is heat. In our next session we are going to continue with numerical examples. We will complete the numerical examples for this chapter and we are going to start with chapter number 4. So till then I expect all of you will study and keep your books completed. So during our exams, especially board exams, it will become easier for you to refer the notes and study. Thank you, dear children.